Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swami Nityananda. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 24. Worshipping Govardhana Hill. Text, we'll try to cover text 24 and 25 today. So I will read 25 with everyone, just 24 I will read it for myself. Nanaf puro janapada nagrama nagrihavayam vanaukausas tata nityam vanashaila nivasinaha. My dear father, our home is not in the cities or towns or villages. Being forest dwellers, we always live in the forest and on the hills. Purport. Lord Krishna here points out that the residents of Vrindavana should recognize the relationship with Govardhana Hill and with the forests of Vrindavana and not worry about a distant demigod like Indra. Having concluded his argument, Lord Krishna makes a radical proposal in the following verse. Please repeat after me. Tasmat Gavam Brahmananam Adrehe Cha Arabhyatam Makaha Ye Indrayaga Sambharaha Taihi Ayam Sadhyatam Makaha Tasmad Gavang Brahmananam Adrescharabhyatang Makaha Ya Indrayaga Sambharas Tair Ayang Sadhyatang Makaha Tasmad Gavang Brahmananam Adrescharabhyatang Makaha Ya Indrayaga Sambharas Tair Ayang Sadhyatang Makaha Tasmad Gavang Brahmananam Adrescharabhyatang Makaha Ya Indrayaga Sambharas Tair Ayang Sadhyatang Makaha. Matajis. Tasmat, therefore, Gavam of the cows, Brahmananam of the Brahmanas, Adrehe and of the hill Govardhana, Cha also, Arabhyatam, let it begin, Makaha, the sacrifice. Ye, which? Indrayaga, for the sacrifice to Indra. Sambaraha, the ingredients. Taihi, by them. I am this. Sadhyatam, may it be carried out. Makaha, the sacrifice. Translation and commentary by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: therefore, may a sacrifice for the pleasure of the cows, the Brahmanas, and Govardhana hill begin. With all the paraphernalia collected for worshipping Indra, let this sacrifice be performed instead. Purport: Lord Krishna is famous as Go Brahmana Hita, the well-wishing friend of the cows and the Brahmanas. Lord Krishna specifically included the local Brahmanas in his proposal because he is always devoted to those who are devoted to the godly Vedic culture. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikasa Swaminiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Quickly reading the translation, text 24. My dear Father, our home is not in the cities or towns or villages. Being forest dwellers, we always live in the forest and on the hills. So far we saw in this chapter, Krishna, although he was a very small boy, in a very inquisitive way, he started asking his father about why this worship of Indra, this Indra Yagya, why was it required? So he posed questions, and he wanted to clearly drive the point that he wanted Nanda Maharaj and all the other Gopas to actually worship Govardhana hill, and then the cows, and then the Brahmanas. And we saw so far how Krishna used the Karma Mimamsa. He implored the Karma Mimamsa, and then he also explained the atheistic Sankhya philosophy, somehow to drive the point that, okay, now it's time for us to worship Govardhana hill. We are actually dependent on the cows, we are engaged in protecting the cows, and our whole life is flourished by this Govardhana, so we should worship Govardhana. So that's the point here. Krishna in this verse is pointing out very clearly. From this verse we can see that Krishna is now pushing Nanda Maharaj and other devotees to make the preparations for worshipping the Govardhana. So from these verses we can see the pastime is going to unfold, and very clearly Krishna is pointing out that there is, like yesterday we had this verse, that what is the point, why there is a need to worship Indra. So he was kind of putting Indra down because he also wants to teach a lesson to Indra. So do not be proud by your position and your capacity and your capability. So Krishna also simultaneously wanted to teach a lesson. So, and also, as we heard Srila Jiva Goswami pointing out in one of the previous verses, that he also wanted his pure devotees to be totally devoted to him. Of course, they are completely devoted to him. There is no question of any doubt about that. But still, he wanted to put in practice that even the traditional worship that they were doing of Indra, he did not want that. He was not very happy about it. So he wanted them to worship Govardhana instead. And so with all the arguments put forth, so Krishna is now establishing to worship Govardhana. And in today's verse, in verse 25, we can see Krishna is specifically pointing out that you have to, the local Brahmanas are also very much part of our Hare Krishna, yeah. So the Brahmanas needs to be worshipped as well. So that's and the purport it's a very nice point is explained that Krishna is Go Brahmana Hita. So he very much loves the cows, he very much loves the Brahmanas, and he gives himself to them. And there's a nice point, it is mentioned here that Lord Krishna specifically included the local Brahmanas in his proposal because he is always devoted to those who are devoted to the godly Vedic culture. So that means Krishna is pointing out that those who are his devotees, they naturally follow the Vedic culture, and Krishna is very much inclined to them. He very much gives himself to them. And so this is in fact, the entire Bhagavatam, this is the beauty of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that he brings to the limelight the glory of his devotees. Krishna loves his devotees to such an extent that he becomes completely controlled by his devotees. And this is the very amazing theme of the entire Bhagavatam. And this kind of a understanding is very rare to see in any religion, that the Lord becomes completely captivated by his devotees. So, and the Lord is glorified by various names for that. You can see the entire, in so many places in the Ramayana or in the Vishnu Sahasranama, in the Bhagavatam itself, so many names are used for the Lord. How his specific qualities, he is called as Bhakta Vatsala, who is so affectionate to his devotees. He is ready to perform any activities for those devotees who have completely surrendered themselves to them. So that is the beauty of the Supreme Lord. He is also, and we can see several examples, so many examples are there, so because of the great affection for his great devotee Prahlad. So the Lord, he appeared, he appeared, and then he wanted to protect him at any cost, because of great faith Prahlad had on Lord Nrsimha. And by that pastime, the Lord shows how much he is affectionate to his devotees. We can take the example, another name where the Lord is glorified for those who have so much surrendered to him. He is also called as Sharanagata Vatsala. Those who have surrendered to him, he is very affectionate to those who are surrendered. And Krishna shows that, one definition of the Lord is he is neutral, but we have to admit the fact that he is partial. He is partial to his devotees, for those who have given themselves to them. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshostina priya e bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But those who are engaged in his devotional service, naturally he is affectionate to them. And the Acharyas give the example of how the mother gives, she may have prepared some nice sweets. She may give to all the children who are there, but still she may give more sweets to her own son or daughter. It's natural. Similarly, so that is actually bhushana, the Lord's beauty actually. It's not, there is no defect on that. That shows that how the Lord is so much affectionate to his devotees. So he's Sharanagata Vatsala. Another name by which the Lord is also glorified is called as Suhrit. Suhrit means one who is very dear, heart to heart. Is so dear. And Srila Prabhupada, in one of the lecture, he gives the example that how the Lord, to save the conditioned souls, how much he accompanies them. So in one lecture he says that although the jiva may be in the body of a hog, still the Lord accompanies him as Paramatma. And then he is just patiently sitting, waiting when the soul will turn towards him. That is the Lord's amazing quality, that how he is always ready to give himself to his devotees. So Suhrit is a real well-wisher. Nobody can replace that position. We may have our friends, we may have our parents, we may have our other relatives. Yeah, they may want to help us, but nobody is our real well-wisher we may be put into different situations by which we may have to undergo some difficulties, some very challenging situations. But all those situations are, in fact, it is a result of our own karma, but also the Lord, when someone engages in his service, the Lord puts the devotee into a different situation so that he gets purified and he takes shelter of the Lord and he becomes more affectionate to the Lord. So the Lord accompanies a devotee who is taking shelter of him, and he goes through all those calamities or difficulties so that he becomes even more bound, even more tight, and he becomes more affectionate to his devotees. And the Lord is also called as Rakshita. Rakshita means one who actually gives protection to his devotees. There's another thing. We can say a famous example of Draupadi, how the Lord, in a very tough situation, so nobody can think of such a situation in an assembly, a woman being disrobed. She had full faith. She called the name of Govinda, and the Lord immediately reciprocated. And the Lord also, he has, even if you do not do anything, still the Lord reciprocates and he helps that conditioned soul. But when when we do something, even we might have forgotten, so many other people would have forgotten, but the Lord never forgets, even the smallest of service that we do. So once upon a time when Krishna had cut his finger, so Draupadi immediately from her sari, she gave a bit, and then that wound was covered. Krishna didn't forget it. So he really wanted to be there personally, but he had to protect Dwaraka. So, but still immediately the Lord protected her. So that is his amazing nature. And as a friend also, the Lord, we can take the example of Sudama Vipra, how the Lord, although he never forgets, like in the material world, we can see when somebody gets into a very big position, or he becomes very rich, or he goes to a very higher status, and they may forget their old friends or their old situations. But Krishna is not like that. So when Sudama Vipra came to meet Krishna came running. He just came down from his asan. He came, he worshipped him. He really remembered all those days, how in the Gurukul they were together and doing service to their Guru. Krishna was so affectionate, and we know how the Lord was that, the flat rice what he brought, it was not of some good quality also. He did not himself have it in the house, he had to beg it from someone else. And the Lord was just very eagerly waiting to take it. And he wanted to take more, but then Rukmini had to stop it. Because he was showering so much mercy. That is the Lord. He's amazing. His qualities are so amazing. He's so much, we cannot even perceive that how much the Lord loves us. He has so much affection for his devotees. We can again take the example of this point again in the Bhagavatam, is again and again emphasized, how the Lord who is unconquerable becomes conquered. This word Ajita and Jita, in so many places, even in the Vishnu Sahasram, the Lord is being glorified for both the names. So the Lord who can never be conquered, we can see, who can imagine that the Lord comes as a chariot driver. I just remember some years back, one sannyasi was in a very friendly way kind of glorifying one devotee. He said that he's my driver, because he was taking him for all the different programs, for 1 week or so he was taking him for all the programs. And so this devotee became actually upset. It was very unfortunate. He was, Maharaj called me driver. And then, Maharaj had to explain actually in what sense he explained. And he has to give all the philosophical explanation for that. And he has to quote. But that, the Supreme Lord is so happy. For Vamana, he's there as a doorkeeper. And we can see in the Rajasuya Yagya what he was doing. He was taking care of, he was washing the feet of all those who were coming. And he very happily drives the chariot for Arjuna. And he's glorified so much for that. That's the beauty of the Lord. And sometimes, we have no clue. Whatever opportunity we get to perform in devotional service, in the association of devotees, it could be any service for that matter. It could be cleaning a bathroom, cleaning a toilet, throwing the garbage, anything. Sitting on the Vyasas and giving a class, leading a kirtan, doing puja. And apparently, externally, we may think that this is on a higher level. But from the Lord's perspective, any devotee with his full heart, whatever service he renders, the Lord accepts it. The Lord loves it. He doesn't discriminate. So when we are at a neophyte stage, we don't understand it. But if we understand what are the activities that the Lord did, then we will understand the glory of devotional service. How much the Lord appreciates his devotees. how much he loves the pure devotion, and that's what the Lord looks into. So, we can see that in the section of Ambarish and Durvasa Muni section, the Lord very clearly explains that I am in the heart of my devotees. The devotees are in my heart. I know no one but them, and they know no one but me. And again, it's the contradiction also then comes in the Bhagavatam, right? The Lord, the very first verse of the Bhagavatam, it explains that the Lord is Swarat. That's how the Bhagavatam begins. He's completely independent. And later in the Bhagavatam, again in the 9th canto, it is explained that the Lord is not Swarat. He is controlled. He is under the control of his devotees. So is it a contradiction? It's not a contradiction. The Lord is Swarat. At the same simultaneously he is controlled by his devotees as well. So that is his beauty. That's why the Acharyas explain the point that this is the quality of the Lord. Again, another amazing quality of the Lord. It's achintya. We cannot by mundane logic try to reconcile the various activities of the Lord. So only by devotion we can appreciate the Lord and hearing in the footsteps of the pure devotees. So that's why we just now, we had this month of Damodar, so much that two words are being glorified. The Acharyas are again and again glorifying these two words, Bhakta Vatsalya and Bhakta Vashya. The Lord is being controlled by his devotees, and he gives himself to his devotees. But not an easy thing. The Lord doesn't give himself so easily. But for one who has Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavartam Anukulyena Krishnanu Shailanam Bhakti Uttama. So that's how the Srila Rupa Goswami defines what is that glory of a pure devotional service. There is no question of expectation of results from fruitive activities. There is no question of mental speculation, trying to even get liberation. That's not the aim of a devotee. A devotee simply wants to perform favorable devotional service to the Lord. In fact, we can see again and again in the Bhagavatam this is being emphasized. That's why Bhagavatam is so much glorified of all the Puranas. That explicit point of pure devotional service is emphasized here. And we can see how the Lord has so much love for his devotees. And also we can see from Ramayana, I just thought to remember Lord Hanuman for his great pure devotion that he had for Lord Ram. Just a couple of verses I thought of reading to see the beauty of pure devotion, the beauty of dedication of a pure devotee. So in one of the verse, it is glorified. It said that Bhavavanda Chide Tasyas Sprihayams na mokshase Bhavan Prabhur Aham Dasa Iti Yatra Vilupyate. My dear Lord, if you like, you can give me salvation from this material existence or the privilege of merging into your existence. But I do not desire any such things, the Lord Hanuman says. I do not want anything that, even after liberation, might diminish my relationship with you as servant to master. So we can see in all the rasas, this is the most important thing, the mood of service, the service attitude. So Hanuman says that I don't want anything which will diminish this position. So that's what we hanker for, right? So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kami, mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhakti rahetu kitvai. So this is the aim of a devotee, just to be always engaged in the service of the Lord in the association of its devotees. He does not have any other demand. He just wants to engage in pure devotional service. Yadi dasyasi me kaman varamstvam varadarshava kamanam mridya sammoham bhavatastu vrunevaram. This is what Prahlad Maharaj is asking. He is not asking for anything, any other boon he is not asking. Please, from the core of my heart, remove all the material desires. What such a perfect prayer from the Bhagavatam. And again we can see the glory of Hanuman. He simply wants to glorify Lord Ram, nothing else he wants. He says, Yavad Rama Kateyam Te Bhaval Lokeshu Shatruhan Tavaj Jiveyam Ityevam Tatastviti Chaso Bravit. He says that Hanuman said, O Rama, chastiser of foes, let me live as long as the history of your deeds remains extant on earth. Thereupon Lord Rama replied, so be it. So we can see the pure devotees, their only aim in life is to always glorify the Lord. That's the only, they don't have anything else. And just by hearing about them, hearing about the pure devotees, hearing about their activities, we can see what is the glory of this pure devotional service. How that is the only thing that can satisfy the soul. This is the most key point. Nothing else can satisfy the soul, because everything else that is tinged with some material aspirations will not give the soul the real happiness, because the real happiness is in pure devotion. And Srila Prabhupada taught us that. Srila Prabhupada himself is a perfect example of that. And devotees have this experience when they go out, distribute books, meet people, they don't have any other desire apart from somehow or other try to spread the glories of the Lord and His pure devotees, His name, His knowledge, the pure devotion, the whole process. And we can see, we all have experience. We may have so many mixed desires, but when we really endeavor to engage in pure devotional service, we can immediately see the satisfaction one derives from that. There is no match for that. And immediately we can see when we have lower tendencies, when we try to satisfy our own senses, we can see there is no by the influence of Maya, it might appear that it's nice, but that will never satisfy the soul. So that is one of the most important message of the Bhagavatam. And in the upcoming verses we will see how Krishna is making all the arrangements how to worship Govardhana in a perfect way. So we'll stop here. Already I'm late by 1 minute. If you have any questions or anything, just for a minute we can discuss. Any questions or comment? Yes, Prabhu.
You could understand that it is not just the devotees, but Lord show so much affection for the demons as well. That means whoever comes in contact with the Lord, He makes sure that they will get benefited out of it. And there are so many examples. We see that Putana killing, or Trinavarta, even Putana killing, her intention was to kill him, but as she fed Krishna, so he showed so much affection for them as well. So what to speak of devotees when they perform devotional service, what kind of love and affection they would receive from the Lord.
That's true. Yeah, He's also Lord is called as Kripalu, Dayalu. So many names are there. But even for the demons, those who come in touch with Him, somehow or other they are getting purified. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.